Station. I'm found me in the shower. Started the investigation. Good morning once again. We are about to take up some zoning violation matters. We have 1, 2, 3 defendants, several different matters. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
What's your name?
I'm here for Roberta Grinnell.
All right, very good. Thank you. Have a seat right over here, if you would.
Right here?
No, right over here. And please remove your hat. Please take your hat off.
Oh, sorry.
Thank
Can't
you.
hear you. I am hard of hearing.
Okay. Miss Grinnell, why don't you come right up here and have a seat right over here? Let's go on the record. We're going to start a minute or two early, and we're actually going to take this case out of order. But it is, let me get it up here. Regarding Park Township versus Roberta Grinnell. The file number is 231405. Ms. Grinnell's case is set for 10:15, but she is here. She has 2 broken arms that she broke a couple of days apart earlier this week. She had a pretrial on an animal control matter earlier this morning. I believe she also has a medical appointment this morning. So if we could take this out of order. This ticket was issued on July 24th of 2023. There was a compliance order in effect. From October of 23. And this had to do with a property that had burned on Wilbur Road. And Ms. Grinnell is here today. Ms. Grinnell, are you living on Parkville Road? Where are you living?
Living in on Grand
She's
Street.
living with her sister at until we can find a.
Where's that?
Excuse me?
What town is that in?
It's Flowerfield Township.
All right, Ms. Sieber, what's the particulars here?
Yeah, Mr. Hayden, can you please give us the details in terms of the living conditions at 5-3?
It is, the only thing left on the property is a pole barn and a small outbuilding. Back when the property was cleaned up, I believe it was in November, Miss Grinnell went to live out at the Church Street address, and she was gone for approximately a month or so. Then I got a call, or I should say the township got a call that she was back out at the property living in that pole barn. I went out to the property and I found her there, told her that she needed to move. She resisted, said she wasn't going to go anywhere. So that's why I filed the show cause.
Mr. Hayden, is there electricity or heat in the whole building?
There's no electricity, no heat, there's no running water. It's just a standalone pole barn, and I don't believe it has insulation either.
Okay, and what about any receptacle for human waste or anything like that?
No, there's no plumbing, no septic to the pole barn.
And
when I was out there, she was sitting on a mattress, which was laying on the floor.
any other
All
furniture?
right, well, let's slow down a little bit. I didn't put anybody under oath. Ms. Grinnell, to the best you can, would you raise your right hand, and Mr. Hayden, would you raise yours? Do you all swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
I do.
All right. And Mr. Hayden, is everything that you just said here the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, it is.
Ms. Grinnell's sister called yesterday and asked to adjourn this matter. And I didn't want to adjourn it because I was concerned about her current living conditions. When was that day that you went out to see the defendant?
Let me check real quick. I'm trying to find an email where I had been talking to Roxanne on the phone, or the email.
I have a date, 12/27.
12/27 is the day that I think I sent the request for the hearing, but it's when I asked you if there was anything further we could do. I'm not finding the email.
Yeah, I think we talked on the phone. I think that's
Okay.
So it was after Christmas?
No, it was before Christmas, because I know coming into the holidays was an issue, and we knew that we wouldn't get a hearing until after the holidays. That's why I was trying to see if we could get an injunction or anything at that point. But
All right, we had a very mild December by Michigan standards, and
looks like December 19th.
There we go.
19th. All right, and we're about to get our first real dose of winter today, tomorrow, Saturday. We're supposed to get a large amount of snow, and it's supposed to get very cold at or near or below zero, like a Michigan January does. Miss Grinnell, what's your sister's name?
Tina. and
Tina
Linda.
what? What's her last name?
Cornell.
Now, a friend brought you here today. What's your name, sir?
Charles Carr.
And are you helping Miss Grinnell?
Yes.
All right, Miss Grinnell, earlier this week, you broke both of your arms.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
I was walking and I fell
Where?
on the road. I fell
Where were you when you fell?
on the side of the road.
On No Road
No.
or Wilbur Road?
Wilbur Road. Wilbur
All
Road.
right. So on two separate days, you fell and broke both arms?
Yeah.
On Wilbur Road. Where were you walking to? The town?
Store, 216 store.
That's at the corner of 216 and 131.
Yeah.
It's had various names. If you were 100 years old, you would know that as Nickham's Corners. But I believe I know the store. And Wilbur Road kind of comes out on that. We are concerned about you freezing to death, about dying, living in this unheated pole barn with no heat, no electricity, and no plumbing. So you broke your arms just last week. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you have a doctor's appointment today?
I don't.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Are there any animals there?
No.
Mr. Hayden, after the compliance order in October, was the house and garage removed from the property?
Yes, the debris from the house and the garage, everything was removed except the pole barn. The pole barn didn't have any structural damage to it, so that was not included in the order. She stated at that point that she was going to come back and live there, but she had gone to Tina's house at that time, Miss Tina Grinnell's house. They came and picked her up. A deputy called, spoke to them, and they came and picked her up. Like I say, she was gone for a month or so before she ended up coming back.
All right. Do you have a plan where you're gonna go after your sisters? Mr. Carr mentioned they were looking for some other place for you to go. Do you have a plan?
No. That's the point.
Are you connected to community mental health services? Do you get any help from anyone, the Commission on Aging, Community Mental Health? Anyone helping you?
No.
I'm going to make a referral myself to Adult Protective Services.
Your Honor, Adult Protective Services was involved at one point before she moved in with Tina when we took the garage and stuff down. So they have been involved.
Do you know who it was?
Madeline is her first name. I cannot remember her last name. Starts with a W.
So did you work with someone from Adult Protective Services, Madeline?
There was a lady that came out. I don't know who she was.
All right. And did they help you get to your sisters?
No.
Do you have any sort of income, disability income or source? No. Oh boy. Adult PS certainly should be involved in this. Is your plan to try to go back to that pole
Yes, it
barn?
is.
What?
No, not to the pole barn, back to the place, yes.
Well, you can't go to that place unless there's something to live in. You can't live on a bare piece of land. Especially not in January in Michigan with 2 broken arms. Ms. Sieber, what's your request here?
Your Honor, it's very difficult for us as the township to try to effectuate a change in her living conditions without doing something drastic. We have historically not been wanting to demolish the pole barn, but if that is what it takes in order to get her to quit living there, I guess the township would be willing to do that. Alternatively, we would suggest that if she is on site, that she be, detained and possibly either sent to jail or taken over to her sister's house. I just don't know that anything that we could do is going to keep her from living in this pole barn, unless it's something that's that drastic, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not proposing to do that, but I am going to order that if you reside there, you're going to be in contempt of court. And I'm going to have you taken into custody and we'll have a contempt hearing. I'm going to contact Adult Protective Services. You need some help.
Mhm.
It would seem to me that you're entitled to some sort of assistance, either disability or something, and housing assistance. There was a man who was somewhat famous who lived under a bridge on Null Road and rode his bike to Myers every day. And summer, winter, they couldn't get him to move. We tried several different things. And he was hit by a car and killed while he was riding his bike one winter evening. And I don't want that to happen to you, and I don't want you to freeze to death out there. Mr. Carr, what's your connection here? Are you just a friend? Are you related?
I am Her sister's husband.
All right.
Your Honor, I believe it was Mr. Carr that came and picked her up the day that we were doing the demolition. He was also,
Yes, Mr. Carr, would you come up to the podium so we can, your name is Charles Carr,
Correct,
and you're a brother-in-law to Roberta?
correct.
All right, thank you for bringing her here today. Does the family have any plan for her?
Well, that is the big struggle right now, ever since her house burned down in January of last year, I believe. We have been trying to get assistance through the state. We've been trying to get her to make decisions that would better herself for living, eating. It's an ongoing struggle because she refuses the assistance that's given to her. I mean, I get obstinance. There's all kinds of people out in this world that are obstinate. They want things their own way. But to refuse assistance from the state, I mean, her sister and I, we don't know what to do.
Well, thank you. She may need a guardian. In fact, she does need a guardian or some sort of supervision. I don't know thank you, you can have a seat.
Okay.
Miss Grinnell,
Yeah.
I'm not going to order any fine. You don't have any money, but I'm ordering if you go back to that property and try to reside there, that you're going to be in contempt of court. I'm going to contact Adult Protective Services and the probate court. You need some help. You're probably eligible for some sort of financial assistance, either disability or other assistance, and housing assistance. In this day and age, we don't just let people live in a pole barn, even if they want to. But this is dangerous. So now that you have 2 broken arms, are you willing to stay at your sister's house?
Yeah.
All right. Was your plan to go back to the barn like next week?
Oh.
All right. Defendant is in violation of the compliance order. The problem is to make an Adult Protective Services referral, you go to some hotline in Lansing as opposed to a local caseworker. So I'm going to see if I can somehow short circuit that process and get to somebody that can give some help. All right, you're in violation of the compliance order if you return to the property not sure how to word this, to reside, and she'll say, well, I'm not residing here, I'm just visiting. Do you have a suggestion?
I would suggest that possibly the township could board up the entrances to the place to keep her from residing there. And then, I mean, at least within the building. And then we would obviously be able to observe any camping that was happening.
Well, she owns the property, she owns the pole barn. She has a right to go in and out of there and store boats or property in there. But she's been freezing to death on a mattress out there with no heat.
So
And this is the same, we just moved it from the garage out to the pole barn.
Your Honor, I think typically I would say like no sleeping, no cooking, no occupying as a dwelling. I've got some kind of standard language we've been putting into the compliance orders, like, no residing in, no reclining in, no cooking, no sleeping, no bathing. Obviously, a lot of those things aren't happening, but it certainly is accoutrements
All right.
of dwelling in something.
All right, I would ask you to prepare an order that prohibits her from doing all of those things, or she will be in contempt of court. We'll have a show cause to why you should not be found in contempt. In the meantime, I'm going to try to see if I can get some services set up for you. At some point, perhaps things could get better. You own the property, there are probably tax issues with it. You own the pole barn, but you don't have any money to improve it, to build a house on it. And you can't live on it. You can't live in the pole barn. You can't put a tent up on it. You can't put a camper on it. But you need something. So do you understand that if you go back there and try to cook or reside or sleep or any of those things, habitate that pole barn, I'm going to put you in jail. And then I will know that you are warm and safe and have 3 meals a day. Do you understand?
Yeah,
And do you agree you're not going to go back there?
I'm not gonna agree to anything.
All right. Well, if you do go back there, you can agree that I'm going to put you in jail. It's cold. It's going to be 0 degrees. There may need to be even something further. Like a commitment order. But, all right, you don't have to agree to anything, but if you go back there, I'm going to give you a place to live. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
Not really.
All right. You had that case earlier with the dogs. Are those animals gone?
Dogs.
Well, the animal control case, you had those pretrials this morning on a couple of cases.
It was a horse.
It was a horse.
Yeah.
All right, where's the horse?
It's gone. They took it. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. All right, you're free to go. You may be hearing from somebody. Do you have Medicaid?
Yeah,
All right, that's as far as we're gonna go in a zoning context. There may be another context through the probate court, but somebody somewhere has dropped the ball on this. All right, Miss Grinnell, you're free to go. I know you're in pain and you've been here all day. Keep your medical appointment tomorrow.
yeah.
Mr. Carr, I'm gonna work on having one of the agencies that's responsible for this take some action.
Okay, appreciate
All
that.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you. Yeah, that's not a zoning case. That's a public health case, but he's right. If she's outright uncooperative, which she was here, it's hard to give people help if they won't accept it.
Is there a public guardian in St. Joe County or no?
There is. I believe it's Robert Dutka. Good morning, sir. What's your name? This must be Mr. Ledyard. It's not Hubert Henderson. If it is Mr. Ledyard, he's late, but at least we got the other case resolved. Good morning, sir. I don't know if this guy's also living outdoors. Looks like a black and white. It isn't. There's just lack of color. Good morning, Mr. Wells. Which case are you here on?
I don't know. It's the Borough Township case.
Mr. Hubert Henderson?
Yes.
Okay, you're in the right place. We're struggling with an earlier defendant to get connected. Mr. Ledyard, can you hear me? Now he's frozen. Maybe he really is frozen. What if there's a sister named Anna? Mr. Hayden, is that Mr. Ledyard?
I believe so. I really can't get a good look at him.
That's what I'm gonna call him. So Wells, you can ignore this. Why is that coming onto me? I'm gonna lock it on me. Yes, turn your audio on. This is a constant struggle. Well, now we have a close-up of him.
Maybe he's trying to let us read his lips.
Yes. He's probably freezing to death.
Yes, I believe that is him. I just went back and looked at a previous video. It's the same gentleman.
Not on a road. Looking to see if I have anything with a phone number on it. Now he's gone.
Mr. Hayden, do you have a phone number for Mr. Ledyard?
I'm here right now.
Oh, Mr. Ledyard, can you hear us?
Yeah, I just finally figured it out.
All right, well, we've got your audio, but no video.
Okay. If I push more on that.
Well, stay right where you are for now.
Okay.
This is file 222344ON. It's entitled Nottawa Township versus Mike Ledyard. There are actually two cases. 222344 and 23478. Violation of the nuisance and junk ordinance and property maintenance. We had a case just like this just a bit ago where someone's living in a house with no heat, no electricity, no plumbing. And it looks like you're out of doors right now. Are you standing outside in the cold?
Yeah, I'm outside in the cold.
Why?
I can get in my truck. I couldn't get no here. Let me. Can you see me, or I got video now?
Well, you're all right for now. I did see you. Ms. Sieber, what's the status here?
Thank you, Your Honor. The case number 222344 was for junk vehicles located on the property. That was a compliance order that was entered on March the 24th, 2023. There was a previous show cause that we tried to hold regarding the vehicles and piles of scrap. Attached to the request for show cause was Mr. Hayden's photograph showing that there's a black Jeep, a trailer full of junk, a red truck, and a white truck located on the property. Those still are remaining outside and in violation of the order. Mr. Hayden did go out there today, and I'll ask to have him sworn in and be able to testify. The more important one for Mr. Ledyard's safety is case number 23478. That is an International Property Maintenance Code / zoning violation for a person that's been living in the garage. He was cited last March 17th using the accessory building garage as a dwelling. On July the 28th, this court entered a compliance order indicating he could not live in, sleep in, dwell in, recline in, cook in any garage or shed or accessory building on the property. He was to disconnect the electricity by August the 8th, 2023. He was also supposed to remove a wood burner that was located in the garage, again by August the 13th, 2023. By August 13th, 2023, he was supposed to board up the garage to prohibit entry. And if not done within the time frame specified, he was required to demolish the garage by August the 28th, 2023. Do have 4 photographs from Mr. Hayden from this morning. There, it appears that the wood burner is still being operated, that the junk vehicles are still located outside on the property. There are fresh tire tracks and smoke coming out of the wood burner. So it's a very apparent that Mr. Ledyard is using this garage as a residence.
Mr. Ledyard, wherever you are, Mr. Hayden,
Yeah,
would
I'm
you
right
please
here.
raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
All right. I have Ms. Sieber sent me 4 photographs, which we can't screen share with the defendant because he doesn't have a good connection. But tell me what you found on your recent visit to this property.
I can't get video.
This morning I was out there in reference to the garage being used as a residence. The chimney is still there. It looked to me that there was light smoke coming out of it. It had been maybe put out or it was burning out. There is definitely a mark in the snow where a vehicle was parked when it snowed last night. That vehicle was gone and there was tracks leaving. So that leads me to believe that they're still residing. I don't know if it's just him or if someone else is. At one point, there were 2 people in. The other case, as far as the junk vehicles, there is a truck that's on a trailer that's been there for a little while, and another vehicle that was unlicensed. Mr. Ledyard did
They're all
pick up
licensed.
a lot of the junk, and then the neighbors complained that he brought more in. I went back out, and I believe the photos I took on December 12th that we submitted for the show cause show the vehicles and the junk by the barn and behind the barn.
And the photographs, these were taken today?
Those 4 were taken this morning at about 8:45.
That's a lot. 8:45. The trailer was gone. Yeah. We welded
All right.
on it and got that out.
Mr. Ledyard, who's there with you?
My nephew John, he got me on the phone. These vehicles are legal, plated. The extremes on my trailer was plates, but I can show you registration, insurance, and everything. The junk that's left here is my lawnmowers and my hot tub, firewood. I removed the other things. This morning was the last load I hauled out. The reason why that red trailer was not removed at the time is the tongue was broke, and I got it welded last night. I removed it early this morning, along with a bunch of other stuff out here.
So the trailer with the damaged truck on it is gone?
This is my trailer here. The stuff with the junk on it is removed and gone with other things. The extreme is on my trailer that's plated. The other vehicles here are plated and insured.
All right, well, there are 2 trucks, a big dually, looks like a Chevy dually, black. Is that still there?
That is my nephew's. He just pulled in. Now he's in a flatbed.
All right, so the white Chevy truck.
S10? Yeah.
Yes, is
Here, I
that
can
yours?
show you the plate number. Yeah.
Holy wells.
And that's
Yeah, I'm
plated?
start a couple of these up. Yes. The plates were stolen and I turned that in. And the plate number, here it is.
Well, I don't need to know the plate number here, but,
Okay.
all right.
I got it in
So
the
the
back
black
windows.
truck belongs to a visitor. The white truck belongs to you. The big question is, I prohibited you from living in this uninhabitable garage. And what's the story there?
It was a bait shop. It does have a full bathroom. I do, power's being turned on either tomorrow. Everything's the meter, all that's done. And I'm just waiting on, everything's been put in electrical wise, and they had me do one more thing for it. Other than that, it runs through a new septic and all that. I have really no place to go.
Are you,
I'm running off a what's that? It's a Generac. You can't hear it run, but that's what I'm using. So they hooked the power up. Got new meter box and everything up. Just waiting
All right,
for them
well,
to come back on.
they're not supposed to hook the power up. Who's hooking the power up?
Well, when I talked to the ordinance Mike Hayden, he asked me why I didn't have power. So I run everything that I was supposed to do, paid the township and for the breakers and all that. And I had to go to a 200 amp service. So I completed that this week. They said I could have power to build on it.
Has the electrical inspector looked at any of this?
Yes.
And who is that person?
He's got 100 and some different counties, and he comes up here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he had me move it over here to the fence because my meter is on a pole in the neighbor's yard. So I had to get a meter box, new breaker box, which is all put in now. And I'm supposed to call him, the guy in Sturgis here, excuse me, that hooks up puts a meter in. I'm supposed to call him and say I'm complete of what he asked me to do. And my money order and everything's back in the mail with a 200 amp breaker. I had a 100 amp. I didn't know I had to have a 200.
All right, tell me about the septic.
The septic is put in less than 10 years ago. The well is in underground. I never had any issues with a well or septic out here. The fire was caused by arson. Basically, my nephew put gas in a kerosene heater. The only thing left out here right now is a slab of cement and the footers that I like to build off of.
That's you.
All right, well, just a minute. Someone just logged in his iPad. Who am I speaking with?
George Letts, Township Supervisor. I'm just here to observe.
All right, well, I'm gonna mute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. But I don't want to hear you. You're speaking while we're on the record in another case, so you're welcome to certainly observe. If we need to hear from you, we'll unmute your mic. All right, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Ms. Sieber, what's your position here?
Your Honor, this building was never intended to be a residence. So
I know
whatever
it was
he
not.
is or may be doing right now is apparently in trying to get it to be a residence. He's using a generator. He's got this wood stove in there that was ordered to be removed way back when, at least once this year. And I believe that what he's telling you is, gee, I'm making this into a livable building.
That's what it sounds like.
It was ordered to be removed. It was ordered for him to get that wood stove out of there, to disconnect the electric, if there was any, and to quit living in it. And he just obviously did not get the message.
Well, here is the compliance
out here.
In 23478. I ordered on July 28th, when it was warm out, that no person shall sleep in, dwell, recline, cook, or otherwise use any shed, accessory building, or garage for dwelling purposes. By no later than 10 days after the date of the signing of this order, the defendant shall disconnect the electrical service by removing any and all electrical cord and generators serving the garage, including permanently removing the extension cord running to the neighbor's house. 3, by no later than 10 days after the signing of this order, the defendant shall disconnect the wood burner inside the garage and shall remove the fuel therefrom. By no later than 15 days after the signing of this order, the defendant shall close the garage to casual entry by boarding the openings and doors. The defendant shall not thereafter use the garage for any purpose unless and until a zoning permit and building code approval have been obtained. 6, if the defendant does not effectuate termination of electric and disconnect the wood stove, the effort to retain the garage shall be deemed abandoned and shall be demolished no later than 30 days after the signing of this order. The township zoning enforcement officer is granted access to the property after 30 days of the signing of this order so as to permit him to photograph the property and ascertain the level of compliance. If the defendant has not complied with the provision of this order with the time frame specified, the court will enter an order requiring the defendant to appear and show cause why he should not be found in contempt and punish accordingly. If a contempt hearing is necessary, the court will consider the defendant's motion to demolish the garage and cost to the defendant on the property. You can't turn this property into a garage. You have ignored every single thing that was in the compliance order. And we don't do this just to make people's life difficult. We've had several
understand that.
cases in the last few years where people have burned to death. In
There are
this,
fire, there are
so-
smoke alarms and all that in there, but
well,
my
you
point,
already had a
I
fire.
had,
I had two
I had
little
a-
kids
yeah.
burn up in a house that they weren't supposed to be in. I had a man in Montville die in a fire. And you can't live there and
about
you're in
that.
contempt. So the question is, we probably need a better hearing than this, in which case I have the authority to put you in jail and to have the township demolish this building. It sounds
am I
like
allowed
maybe
to
the
bring
left
a new
hand,
camper home?
well, and I can't even see you. And you're spending money. Now, the order says without zoning approval. Mr. Hayden, are you aware that he's got any zoning permits to do the things that he's doing?
No, there's no zoning permit for anything. Currently, the electrical permit that he has is for a temporary service for him to build a residence on the property. I spoke to the electrical inspector and he said it is not to hook the garage to the service. It's for building a house.
It's not hooked up to the garage.
All right, so there's no electricity in the garage?
They had me remove my camper out here. It was self-contained, and I don't understand why that was an issue. And I had no other place to go.
I'm not
Whatever I can
oblivious to
do
that.
to comply and get this taken care of, I'm willing to do.
Well, so far you haven't done any of it. But we need a hearing where I can see you face to face. We're gonna have a
Okay.
hearing live in person
Okay.
shortly. I have another lady who wants to live in an unheated pole barn with no electricity, no plumbing, and no heat, and freeze to death. I have had other people that where they are because they have nowhere to go. And for more than a year, you haven't made any provision for anywhere to go. But you can't live like this. Let's see what I've got for a date. I read you all the terms of the compliance order and you're out of compliance. You're not supposed to live in that garage. And that's where you're living. I don't care whether it has a septic system or not. It's not zoned for human habitation and it's dangerous.
Is there any way I can get a permit to bring our new camper back out here? It's full contained till we get something built?
Probably not. That's up to the township, but in most instances, you can't site a camper on a lot to reside in. But let me look at what I've got. But yeah, apparently my order from July didn't affect you a bit.
You still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I have all the forms right here that was sent to me. July.
Roxanne, I've got some difficulties because I'm going on a trip. Are you available to have a continued show cause hearing for Thursday, February 1st at 9:30?
I am Mr. Hayden.
Yes.
It will be live at the courthouse.
Okay.
Mr. Hayden, I would appreciate it if you'd go inspect it shortly before then. What I don't want is you burning up in there between now and February 1st. I don't have a place to put it any sooner than that. But I read you the terms of the compliance order, and you didn't do any of the things that I said you were supposed to do. And so I'm gonna order it. So you got till February 1st to find out where you're gonna go. My only fear is something bad doesn't happen between now and then. It's supposed to get real cold and lots of snow. But for contempt purposes, I have the authority to put you in jail for certain kinds of contempt up to 90 days, which would give you a place to live pending warmer weather. If you were to spend January, February, and March in the jail, you'd be warm and you'd have 3 meals a day. So if you like that alternative, that is something we could pursue on February 1st. If you want something else, I want you to start to look for other alternatives and take a look at that compliance order that was issued in July, because you haven't complied with any of those terms. Now, regarding some of the junk, I guess you got it out of there. I'm not sure about this thing on the trailer. The 2 trucks that are there, the black one and the white one, are registered and they're people's vehicles. You have a right to do that, but you can't live here. And we're going to discuss it further live at 9:30 a.m. on February the 1st.
9:30, okay.
That way you won't be standing out in the cold freezing to death. We'll be in here. We can share pictures. You'll be able to see what's going on. And if I need to find you in contempt, I'll have a deputy here that can take you into custody. So you need to plan for some alternative before I see you on February 1st. And you need to look at the terms of that compliance order, the things that I ordered you to do. Because another thing they're going to ask me to do is tear this garage down to make sure nobody lives in it. And as a rule, I don't know what the zoning is in Nottawa Township. You can't live in a camper. All right, I know that you're in a difficult position, so I haven't taken any action today, but we're going to sit here face to face in a couple of weeks. And that will be February 1st. So I will see you at that time. Do you have any questions?
My neighbors, 2 neighbors here offered to let me stay with them until I get something up here.
All right, well, that's certainly acceptable.
I can still see my property from there. I'm just,
All right, Mr. Hayden, you might want to have further connection with this electrical guy if they're putting a 200 amp service that isn't out on a pole or something. I'm not sure what they're doing, but if I were you, Mr. Ledyard, I wouldn't spend any more money on this project until we determine what course of action we're going to take.
Okay, it's finished. I mean, I won't spend no more.
All right, I will see you here in my courtroom, 9:30 in the morning on Thursday, February the 1st. All right?
Okay. Okay.
All right, Mr. Hayden, I think this is your last case.
Yes.
All right, I'll let you go.
Sure. Thank you.
Roxanne, I don't know that we need any order other than I will just continue this hearing regarding the show cause on both files for that date.
Okay.
All right, I'll remove Mr. Hayden. And I'll remove Mr. Ledyard. All right, don't go away. Everybody stay right where you are. I'm gonna take these 2 files out. Mr. Henderson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'll be right with you. All right, so we're returning to our next matter. We are still on the live feed. We are back on the record. This is 2 matters regarding Hubert Henderson. File number 231136ON is a civil infraction ticket that was issued July of 2023. This is in Middle Colon Road in Borough Township, inoperable or unregistered vehicles. Issued by zoning enforcement officer Vaughn Reed. File 231400 is a civil infraction ticket issued July 21 of 23 for junk, trash, debris, and litter in yard. There was a compliance order in both of these cases that was issued in September of 2023 regarding that this property be brought into compliance. So, Mr. Reed, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Henderson, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Wells, what's your connection here?
I live right next door to the property in question.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sieber, what's the status here?
Your Honor, these two compliance orders that were entered in September of 2023 required the property owner to eliminate the outdoor storage of unlicensed and inoperable motor vehicles and the parts thereof, and to eliminate all junk and litter from outdoor storage on the property. Mr. Wells, who lives next door, has quite a variety of photographs establishing that since the end of October up through the 4th and probably even up to and including yesterday, that there are numerous unlicensed inoperable motor vehicles being brought, stored outside, worked on, and then removed from the property. There's been batteries brought out there, tires, there's some items of junk that are out there. The problem is that this appears to be kind of a moving target. He's really more or less operating some kind of a scrapping or junk business. And what we're dealing with here is just on a daily basis, all of this types of stuff going in and out. And it does have, they are all violations of the township ordinances from the vehicle storage and repair and litter provisions. As I said, I do have quite a few photographs that were taken by Mr. Wells. I believe he has also indicated to the township supervisor and to Mr. Reed and provided them with some photographs. So if you would like some testimony from any of those three people, we're happy to put that on, and I can send you some photographs if you would like to see them.
All right, Mr. Wells, would you raise your right hand also? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Mr. Henderson, I signed an order in September telling you to stop doing these things. And not only did you stop doing them, you've continued to do even more.
Sir, there ain't nothing going on that property. It's not going inside my building.
All right, well, let's, Mr. Wells is under oath, let's screen share the photos.
There you go.
Mr. Wells, I'm going to show you here a photograph. Can you see that?
Yes.
Is that your house that's the tan one?
Yes.
Okay, and then you're located really close. This is Mr. Henderson's house, which looks like to be a 2-story or a story and a half.
Yes.
This is dated 12/27/2023. Does that fairly and accurately represent the property as you observed it?
Yes.
And were these vehicles licensed and operable?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you, what about the trailer here?
The trailer, I can't see it very well on my phone.
I can't see it either, Your Honor.
Did you,
Well, there's a
did the
vehicle sitting up. You can see the dual wheels.
Yeah, I
of
need
the
to see the vehicle. I need to see them vehicles.
Well.
I can't see them.
can you s-
That one car is my Cadillac, and the other one's a neighbor guy.
All right.
So, I mean, yeah, they're all licensed vehicles.
Well,
I
you're here
could-
looking on your phone.
I could barely see it.
Yes.
I can attest that the one is the Cadillac and that one is licensed, but the one on the trailer, the van on the trailer, most of them that come in are not licensed.
Mr. Wells, here's a photograph dated 12/28/2023. Did you take that photograph?
My screen hasn't switched yet.
Oh, sorry. It's a white vehicle.
We're not seeing it, Roxanne.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're still not.
It won't switch.
Plus, Mr. Henderson can't see it.
I can't
So
see
we're gonna
any of
have
this.
to do the same thing. We're gonna have to continue this to live in person. Can I have my screen back?
You get it?
Besides that, Your Honor, my attorney wasn't available to be here because it was such a short notice.
Who's your attorney?
They're out of,
Well, you're on mute. Who's your attorney? No, he's gone.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My phone
Who's
was
your
ringing.
attorney?
Heather, what's the name of that? I'll get it. I'm sorry, Your Honor, she's looking for it.
Heather's still there?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her heart. Here's what I ordered on October 13th. By no later than 21 days after the date of this order, the defendant shall eliminate the outdoor storage of refuse, junk, tires, cast-offs, scrap cardboard, construction materials, broken plastic, barrels, tools, household trash, and all other items constituting a violation of the Borough Township Litter and Blight Ordinance. The defendant shall thereafter maintain the property such that only those items constituting litter.
Your Honor, there is nothing outside. I don't know what they're talking about. Show the pictures.
Well, I haven't seen the pictures and
I
you
haven't
can't see.
either. Yeah. They're saying they got all these pictures. Where they at?
Well, you told me you can't see them, so you're gonna come here in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And we're going to see what the circumstance is.
Can I ask you a question, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Whatever I put inside my garage is legal, right? I mean, there
Yeah,
shouldn't be nobody.
if you've got a 68 Chevelle, you can put it in your garage and shut the door and it is legal. If you got batteries and junk and other stuff laying around in the yard, if you pick it up and put it inside the garage, it's legal. So
All right,
I haven't
that's all
seen
I
the
need to know.
pictures either.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
All right, so whatever's, now we're about to get a giant blizzard with about 30 inches of snow. So if you're gonna do something, you
Right.
should do it sooner rather than later.
I have nothing.
Roxanne, I don't think that other case is gonna be short, but let's continue this to 10 a.m. on February 1st.
Okay.
Does that work for you? Well, I already know you're there. Mr. Reed, does that work for you?
Yes, that'll be fine.
And Mr. Wells?
Yep, I can make that work.
All right, and from the township supervisor's position, you're welcome to come. You can also just watch the proceedings on the YouTube because they will be live streamed. But we will continue this so we can see all the pictures. And Mr. Henderson's position is he's in compliance. We'll find out.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, we're gonna do this in the courtroom. Zoom is good for certain purposes. And when you're taking testimony, in fact, we had gotten to the point where we weren't doing testimonial things by Zoom anymore. And these three cases point that out. All right, we'll continue this to Thursday, February 1st, 2024 at 10 a.m. live here at the St. Joseph County Courthouse, 3B District Court. All right, thank you all for being here. We'll address this further, both of these difficult cases on February the 1st.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Sieber, I'll see you then, if not before. We've
Okay.
been kind of drama-free for a while. And but it's cold and we always have these same issues in the winter time. And we'll do the best we can. So it'll be warm in here, at least warmer than those people standing outdoors. See you on February the 1st.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, we'll stop the live feed. Those zoning cases are tough. People sometimes don't have anywhere to go. And that other case is not a zoning case, it's an adult protective services case. I'll see what I